First and foremost, all praises are due to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Padash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the brothers around the four corners of the earth who are teaching this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel who listen and believe in this word. This is Brother Kawat Saabad coming at you with another lesson. This one is entitled, A Friend of the World is an Enemy of Yahawah the Most High. We're going to start off with James chapter 4 and verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Yahawah? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Yahawah. Now we know an adulterer is someone, a male who commits adultery. An adulteress is a female who commits adultery. That is one of the 10 commandments. So if you're a male and you are sleeping with or having intercourse with another man's wife, you are committing adultery. All right. Now, if that woman does not have a husband, then it's not adultery, because a man, according to the law, statutes and commandments, is allowed to have more than one wife. But of course, we live in a day and age where that's frowned upon, but that will all be corrected in the kingdom. Everything will be, the law, statutes, commandments will be followed to a T. We're going to have the law in our inward parts. Whether you're part of the 1/3 or the 2/3 that comes along later, adultery will not be a thing that will be done in the kingdom. A man will be able to have more than one woman, and he'll be able to have a woman from other nations as well, not just an Israelite woman. Now, an adulteress is a woman who sleeps with another man, period. A woman is only supposed to have one man, one husband, according to the scriptures, okay? Sarah had one husband, Abraham. Rebecca had one husband, Isaac. All right. So according to the scriptures, a woman is only supposed to have one man. Not like today when you have women that are, they may have one, 2, 3 men they're messing with, sleeping with, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's countless, what I'm saying, for some women, particularly the so-called black woman, Eve, okay, from the tribe of Judah. She's known for sleeping around with a lot of men. I'm not saying that other nations don't do it. The Latinos or the Native Americans don't do it, of the Hebrew Israelites, but in particular, a lot of black women sleep with a lot of men, all right? And you're committing a sin. That's adultery. But in the kingdom, this won't be, because you'll be in your right mind and you'll have one husband, as the scripture says. So I just wanted to clarify that. Let's read this again, James 4 in verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Yahawah? So enmity means it goes against Yahawah, all right? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Yahawah, all right? So enmity also is like hatred, okay? It's a form of hate. Let's look at let's get a interlinear translation just to be sure on that. But enmity is not a good word. It's going against Yahawah. Okay, let's James 4 and 4. This is the interlinear. Let's get the okay, let's see what it says here. It's not what I wanted. When it gets totally what I wanted to do. Okay, here we go right here. This is the Greek translation of enmity. Let's see here. Yeah, see, it says here hatred. So enmity means hatred, just like I said. So let's go back, because it's not going to give me the Greek translation. Okay, so if you're friends with the world, it's enmity, it's hatred, okay, to Yahawah. It's not a good thing. So if you're a friend of the world, you're an enemy of Yahawah, meaning if you agree with men being with men, women being with women, all right? If you agree with adultery, if you agree with, celebrating holidays and things of that nature, okay, being a so-called Christian, celebrating Easter, Christmas, okay, and doing those things, you're friends with the world and you care about what the world is concerned with, and you're trying to straddle the line between being a Hebrew Israelite and also being a friend of the world, that's enmity with Yahawah. You're either in or you're out. There's no, you know what I'm saying, you can't be lukewarm with this thing. So you can't be a Hebrew Israelite and still try to party and still try to celebrate, like I said, the holidays, and still try to be cool with the world, so to speak, to try to please the world. That puts you in enmity with Yahawah. Let's continue on. James 4 and verse 5. Matter of fact, let me get a precept. Let's go down to let's go to 1 John. Got a precept for James 4 and 4. 1 John chapter 2, and we have verse 15. And it reads as thus. And it says here, do not love the world. Okay. All right. So like my title says, a friend of the world is an enemy of Yahawah, the Most High. 1 John 2 and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So if you're trying to please the world and you love the world, you love your, $200,000 a year job. It's not saying that if, you had this job before you came into the truth that you quit your job. It's not saying that. But if you're totally in love with the world, you're in love with, your fancy cars, you're in love with a big house, you care about how much money is in your 401k, you should be looking at the news right now where banks are failing. So you shouldn't be concerned about how much money you have. This is about being humble. So if you, like I said, if you love the things that are in the world and caring about the Joneses and trying to keep up with the Joneses, the love of the Father Yahawah is not in you because you're loving the things of the world. You're still Christmas shopping, okay? You're still doing Valentine's Day, all right? You're still eating pork. You're still eating shrimp, scrimps, going to Red Lobster and things of that nature because you want to try to be in the world and please the world. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but, I still can eat shrimp every now and then. No, can't eat shrimp. You can't eat crustaceans, okay? Nothing without fins okay? You can't eat things that don't have fins and gills, okay? You can eat fish, not catfish, of course, but it has to have fins and gills. You can't eat crustaceans. You can't eat pork. You're not to celebrate holidays or your birthday. Okay, that's part of being in the world. My birthday's coming up. What am I going to do? Okay, that's called being a part of, trying to be in the world, loving the world. Okay, so it's not about that. When you get into this truth, it's not about the world anymore. It's about the world of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It's about trying to please Him, Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, to the best of your ability by straying away from wickedness, by doing the righteous acts. All right, by calling on His name, by hating this world and praying for the next world to come, praying for Yahawah Shai to come out those clouds with the chariots to get you out of this mess, this wicked place called America Babylon. 1 John 2, let's read that again, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, like I said, that's like if you commit adultery, okay? All right, if you're committing adultery or doing things like that, eating pork, smoking weed, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Let's read that again, verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, okay, the lust of the eyes, I want to get the new car, the new Mercedes. And the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. All right? You're concerned about how much is in your to have, that you built up, or you're concerned about, okay, your new digs or your new house. That's not what this is about. It's not about the pride of life. Verse 17. And the world passeth away in the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahawah abideth forever. So that's talking about the hope for elect. We say hope for elect because we have humility. We hope we're part of the elect. But if you're part of the elect, you're going to get beamed up into the chariots. You're going to get the laws, statutes, and commandments. in your inward parts, okay? And you're going to live forever, for eternity. On this side, the 1/3 of the Hebrew Israelites, the other 2/3 that don't make it, that are burnt up in the lake of fire, the nuclear bombs coming from Russia and the other nations, as well as laser fire coming from the chariots, you're going to be born through the loins of the 1/3 in the kingdom, okay? During the 1,000-year reign of Yahawah. So Yahawah did indeed save all of us by his sacrifice as the lamb. Okay, but if you can, you want to make your calling and election, sure, you want to do your best to see if you can make it on this side, okay, as part of the 1/3 elect. All right, so let's read this again. And the world passeth away in the lust thereof. Okay, so, this world's going to pass away in the lust thereof. All the accoutrements, okay, all the money, okay, all the women, all the clothes, the cars, etc. That's going to pass away. But he that doeth the will of Yahawah abideth forever. He that strives for righteousness, calls on Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawah, prays, you do your best to walk in the spirit and rehearse the righteous acts, you're going to abideth forever with the Most High. 1 John 2, and let's go to another precept. Let's go to James chapter 1. Let's see here, James chapter 1, and we have verse 8, okay? James chapter 1 and verse 8. And it reads as thus, James 1 and 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So you can't have it both ways. You can't be double-minded. You can't say I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but yet I'm still going to celebrate my birthday. I'm still going to smoke weed. I'm still going to smoke cigarettes. I'm still going to commit adultery. I'm still going to lie. I'm still going to steal. I'm still going to covet things. You can't be a double-minded man because you're unstable. You're either in or you're out. There is no middle ground. You can't be on the fence. You see? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Okay, let's read verse 9. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. So let's see what that says. Those of us who are humble, you're exalted. Let's get a translation comparison. Okay, Salakia. Here we go. James 1 and 9 NLT. Believers who are poor, excuse me, that's not the one I want. James 1 and 9 the NIV. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position. So those of us who are humble and meek, all right, you're actually exalted from being humble and meek and just being concerned about the basics, food, clothing, and shelter. And if you're in this truth, Yahawah's going to take care of you, just the basics. You don't need 4 or 5 cars. You don't need, 20 suits. You don't need 30 pairs of shoes. You don't need those things. Just be humble, okay? And do your best to strive. And do your best to Yahawah. So James 1, and let's read verse 10. But the grass, he shall pass away. You see? So the brother of low degree in a humble circumstance, you're meek, you're a Hebrew Israelite, but you're not worried about the world. You're not worried about trying to please the world. You're not worried about trying to show out. I got this, I got that. It doesn't matter. Let's read this again, James 1 and 10. But the rich in that he is made low, because as the flower of the grass, he shall pass away. So eventually, it doesn't matter how many things you have. All those things are going to pass away. And for the time that's coming upon us, the Hebrew Israelites, okay, whether you're a Hebrew Israelite or you don't, there's going to be a lot of, there's going to be circumstances coming up against us. Esau is starting to show his horns now. All right. You see all these Trump maniacs that are standing up. They threaten to kill that attorney general or district attorney from New York. Okay. The so-called black man, he's a Hebrew Israelite, but they threatened to kill him. Okay. They're sending him letters with powder in it and those type of things. So they're ready to show their horns. Esau, the Edomites, so-called white man, the devil. Okay, so when that happens, they're going to have Jacob's trouble. They're going to try to implement the MOTB. They got concentration camps. They got FEMA camps. So these crazy Edomites, They're going to have them, patrolling the inner cities. They're going to have their guns out ready to go against you. So all your riches and things of that nature, it doesn't matter. Stacking up a whole bunch of food, trying to get an underground bunker, prepping and all that stuff, that's not going to save you. Only faith in this truth, faith in Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that's going to save you. All right? So any of your riches that you're accumulating, it's not going to matter. You see all the bank runs happening. The banks are failing. Everything is going to go to shit pretty soon. They're going to tank the economy. Then they're going to try to force that MOTB, that CHIP, spoken about in Revelation 13:16. Try to force you to get that in your hand or your forehead. So it doesn't matter. All that stuff is going to pass away. All right? All right, let's read let's go to verse 11. For the sun is no sooner risen with a burning heat, but it withereth the grass, and the flower thereof falleth, and the grace of the fashion of it perisheth. So also shall the rich man fade away in his ways. So it doesn't matter how much money you have, okay? It doesn't matter. All that stuff is going to perish. Same as the rich man. He's going to fade away. All his ways are going to fade away. It doesn't matter how much money you accumulate. That doesn't matter at all. So let's continue on. Let's go back to, let's see what we have here. James 4. Let's go back to James 4 and let's get see where I was at here. All right. James 4 and verse 5, okay? Let's read this again. James 4 and verse 4. Just to reiterate. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity, is hatred, okay, against Yahawah? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Yahawah. Okay, let's go to verse 5. James 4 and verse 5. Do you think that the scripture saith in vain, the spirit that dwelleth in us lusteth to envy? All right. So that's the spirit of Yahawah. It's jealous. It's very jealous. Okay. So if you're a friend of the world, you're trying to be in the world and trying to be, partake in wickedness, the spirit that's in you is very jealous of that. Let's get the NLT or maybe an NIV translation of that. Might be the NLT. I'll see here in a second here. This is James 4 and 5. This is the NLT translation of that verse. What do you think the scriptures mean when they say that the spirit Yahawah has placed within us is filled with envy? You see? Let's go down to the NIV here real quick. This is the NIV, James 4 and 5, the NIV. Or do you think scripture says without reason that he jealously longs for the spirit he has caused to dwell in us? So he's very jealous of the spirit. He's a jealous God, a jealous Lord over us, the Hebrew Israelites. All right. So he's jealous that your spirit would go against him, that you would want to be a friend of the world, that it doesn't matter if a man is with a man, or you say things like, well, it's not me, I'm not doing it, but my cousin is he likes men, it doesn't bother me. It should bother you. It should vex your spirit, and you should not want to be around that at all. You should not be around that at all. Now, sometimes in life, we're in situations where, if I go to Walmart and somebody is, it's kind of like that, got that gleam in his eye, and he likes other men, or a woman likes another woman, you got to be around people. You got to do things in life, but you're not trying to hang around them. That just happens to be you run into them because you're out and about in the world. Okay, but if you're just one of those people that's like, well, you know what? Oh, I have friends that are like that are gay. It's cool. It doesn't bother me. Then you're a friend of the world. You're double-minded. Okay, and that's enmity with Yahawah. All right, you got to stray away or get away from that. You have to separate yourself from that. So let's continue on. Let's go back here. All right, James 4 and verse 6. But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, Yahawah resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. So he'll give you grace, all right? He'll give you grace. But you can't be enmity with him by being friends of the world or agreeing with what the world is doing. You're supposed to hate this world, essentially. All right? So James 4, and let's read verse 7. Submit yourselves therefore to Yahawah. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Now, how do you resist the devil? By separating from the world, by not being a friend of the world, by not participating in wickedness, by doing your best to rehearse the righteous acts, the laws, statutes, and commandments, by calling on Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawah, by praying, by doing your best to please the Lord and walk in the Spirit. That's how you resist the devil, and he'll flee from you. You know, even saying the name Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawah, that's a very powerful thing. You know, that's very, very powerful. The spirits, the evil spirits don't like that name at all. James 4 and verse 8. Draw nigh to Yahawah, and he will draw nigh to you. You see? So you draw nigh to Yahawah by just doing like those things I just said. You know, calling on his name, asking for more wisdom, asking him to increase your faith, reading your scriptures, listening to lessons on the internet, YouTube, particularly the Great Millstone brothers and their affiliates, doing your best to please the Lord. All right? Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. So you can't be double-minded. You're either in or you're out. Can't celebrate Christmas and then say I'm a Hebrew Israelite at the same time. Okay? You can say you're a Hebrew Israelite no matter what, if the Spirit's telling you that. But to be a Hebrew Israelite and to be in this truth, you can't, you're not to celebrate Christmas or Valentine's Day or Easter. You're not to eat pork. You're not to be smoking weed, defiling your temple. All right? So you can't be double-minded. You're either in or you're out, point blank. Let's see here. James. I have James 4, and let's go to James 4 and verse 9. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Once you come into this truth and you recognize how wicked this world is, you're to be in a mournful state. You're not to be laughing and giggling. Yeah, we still laugh and stuff. We're not saying that. But the mourning represents that you've taken the bitter with the sweet. You understand the wickedness of this place. You understand your enemy, Esau, the Edomite so-called white man, the devil, walking the planet Earth. So you know what's going on. Okay? You should be perturbed about men with men. You should be perturbed about bestiality. You should be perturbed about, in some states, they're going to legalize pedophilia. So you should be perturbed about that, about a man that can change himself to a woman, or a woman can change herself to a man. You should be perturbed about the gangs, okay? So-called African Americans, Latinos, killing themselves daily, shooting each other daily. You should be perturbed about that. That should bring heaviness to you, that nothing's going to change. This place has to be destroyed, Babylon, America. Yahawah is going to destroy this place on the day of the Lord. That should bring you joy. But other than that, what else is bringing you joy here? This place is horrible. All right? It's absolutely horrible. And it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. Let's read this again, James 4 and 9. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Now I have a precept. Let's go to Ecclesiastes, the Old Testament. Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 4. It reads as thus: the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. You see, those of us in this truth, we have this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of this truth, of being a Hebrew Israelite, of Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawah, of the new world that's going to be coming upon us. We're in the house of mourning because we understand how wicked this place is. But the heart of the fools is in the house of mirth. You're still partying. You still think America's going to last another 40, 50 years. You're still worried about your 401k. You're still worried about keeping up with the Joneses. You're still celebrating holidays and your birthdays. You're in the house of mirth, happiness. No, that's not the state you're supposed to be in. You're supposed to be in the house of mourning. You're supposed to be vexed because you're still in captivity. You're still under curses. Read Deuteronomy chapter 28, the 15th verse on down to the 68th verse, those are the curses that have been put upon the Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. You're cursed. You're in captivity. You're not free. All right? So let's continue on. Let's go to one more precept that I have. Let's go back to, hold on one second here. See what I have here. James 4 and verse 10 first. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. So be humble and meek. Okay? Be lowly. Be in a state of mourning. This ain't about being, you're happy about you're joyful about knowing you're a Hebrew Israelite. You're joyful about knowing Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawah. Yahawah is coming back with the chariots to destroy Babylon, but you're also in a mournful state because you know how wicked this place is. So humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Keep it simple. Just keep it very, very simple. I have one more precept. Let's go to Revelation, the 3rd chapter, the 15th verse. It reads as thus: I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. Meaning, you can't be lukewarm. You can't be on the fence. You can't say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I'm in this truth, but I'm celebrating Christmas, so to speak. I'm still partying. I'm still trying to be out there with the Joneses. I'm still concerned about my 401k. I want America to last another 30, 40, 50 years. So he'd rather you be cold, not be in this thing at all, not hearken to his word, and just be wicked, or be hot. You're in this truth, totally, 100%, to the best of your ability, even being in these carnal bodies. So you can't be lukewarm and be on the fence and saying, I'm in the middle. No, there ain't no middle ground. Either you're cold, you're not down with this truth, or you're hot. You're in it to win it. Revelation 3 and verse 16. This is sum it all up. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So you can't be double-minded. You're either in or you're out. You can't be lukewarm. This ain't about being lukewarm. And like the title says, the lesson says, a friend of the world is an enemy of Yahawah, the Most High. So on that note, all praises are due to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawah, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Hope this lesson was edifying to you. Shalom.